right, welcome to a new episode of the Real Business Roundtable. Today, we're talking about
how to stay productive.
Yes, how to stay productive, avoiding distractions, things like that. I'm pretty sure everyone can relate.
Yeah.
What would you say is the first main thing that is important when it comes to staying productive?
So as someone like me who deals with ADHD, which I'm not complaining about, I actually like having it. It's hard for me to stay productive. I found in school that it was extremely hard for me to stay productive. I hated it. I always got good grades and I, stayed on top of, schoolwork and all that stuff. But what I found was, and I think people are starting to realize this, is that wow. And what I think people are starting to notice this is that you will always get sidetracked doing something that you don't enjoy doing. So, fortunately I worked my ass off to get to do something that I have a passion in every single day, and I don't want to stop doing it, and I love doing it. But, what helps me stay focused is having a goal, is having, a dream, a place that I want to be, and a place that I want to get at that I haven't gotten to yet. That is something that keeps me pushed every single day. There's a lot of different factors, and it's all about, for me, it's all about my mindset. It's all about, why am I doing what I'm doing? Who am I trying to make proud? And normally that's myself.
I would say goals. The goals and the outcome that you're trying to get out of doing the tasks while you're being productive.
Yeah.
The outcome is the driving piece. That's going to be the byproduct of your work. And that's how I stay productive, is I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I want to reach this goal. I'm doing this. Having a
goal for yourself.
Yeah, a little bit at a time. Another thing that is very important if you want to stay productive is avoiding distractions.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm a scatterbrain too, and I can be all over the place, checking social media and stuff like that. And I will catch myself and go, hey, you need to get this done. You need to draft up that proposal. You need to do this. You need to do that. My internal dialogue will correct me and say, what are you doing? Do this, do that, do this. So
it's all about, when I think about how to stay focused, how to stay productive, there's a lot of different aspects to it. As I'm opening up to this conversation, as I'm opening up to this topic, I'm realizing, normally that, normally what happens is I'm realizing there's so many different aspects to staying productive. And I feel like there's two different aspects to it. There's internal, mindset, and then there's external, distractions and stuff like that. And there's, many different ways or many different things you can do within your life that will keep you focused on this side where, there's external distractions and keeps you focused. But then there's many different things that you can do internally that'll keep you focused. And this, has a lot to do with some of the past episodes that we did. One being motivation, and then the other one being, lifestyle. And, different aspects from those conversations, from those topics can really, help you figure out how to stay focused, how to stay productive. What are some things that you struggle with when it comes to staying productive and, tossing back the question that you asked me?
I would say treating myself. I will set a goal if I am productive and I do a good job and I get the work done, then I'll treat myself to something like, something I normally wouldn't have, or I normally wouldn't do, something a little outside of the norm that I would like some kind of like indulgence or some kind of thing like I like.
So you're working towards an indulgence essentially, and you have to
like some kind of like, I know you play a lot of video games. I kind of weaned off and now I watch my son play. But like there are video games that I really like that I will go, okay, you know what? I'm going to play 3 levels of that to treat myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that and I'm going to enjoy myself, or I'm going to kick back and watch a few movies.
So yeah,
if I did not hit my goal, if I'm not productive and I'm sitting there watching movies, I get real guilty and I'm like, what are you doing?
So it's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah.
That's were you still going?
No, go ahead.
Were you?
I wasn't. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't.
So that's actually one of the things that I do in order to stay productive. At the end of the day, like I said in the last couple episodes, it's really hard for me to stop working. I have, so many different things that I have going on, and it's like at the end of the day, if I don't want to overwork myself, which, in my head is impossible. but burnout is real, you know, and I don't want that to happen. I want to stay productive. I want to stay at the top, you know, a top performance that I can stay at. So at the end of the day, or, you know, occasionally, it's not every day, but what I'll do is I'll do some of those things. Like I'll watch a movie, I'll watch a TV show, I'll play video games, because those are things that completely take my attention off of the task at hand. And at the end of the day, I need that in order to get enough sleep, which is one of the things that I do to continue to be productive. I'll get anxious because of the ADHD. And so I need those things at the end of the day in order to, you know, like I say, it's a way for me to melt my brain. It's a way for me to just, you know, take my mind off the, you know, I've already set my schedule for the next day. I got everything that I wanted to get done today. So I'm going to take the next hour or two, you know, late at night when I have nothing. I don't want to stress about these things. So I go and I do something that I can focus on, something that, you know, may not be productive, but something that I can just completely drain my thoughts with. I put on those headphones and I get into a game, or I sit back and I watch a movie, and I can focus on those things. And I think that those things really help me be productive. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And everybody has what pushes them. And if you want to stay productive, you want to look at the little milestones of what you're trying to get done. What is productivity? What is, you know, also efficiency.
Yeah.
So when you're being productive, make sure you're being efficient. Make sure you're getting the work done, especially if you're doing work for someone else. You want to make sure it's in a timely manner. But when you look at all the things that you're responsible for doing in your career, you set these little milestones.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to first do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. And they're small achievements versus saying, I need to do all these things. Oh, and they get overwhelmed. Like with me and my ADD, I will not do something unless it's perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get anxiety about it and I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you probably can relate.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Absolute perfection. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, then no. Like I get anxiety about that.
And that's exactly why I do the things that I do at night. Because if I lay down in bed and I'm you know, I don't have the TV on, or I didn't play Xbox, or I didn't work out, and I didn't do those things that help me decompress at the end of the day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get back up in an hour and I'm going to start working on something, and I'm not going to be done until 3 a.m. And then it just becomes a bad habit. Yeah. Because now I'm you know, I have to wake up at a certain time. I didn't get enough sleep. The next morning I might not work out. You know, I'll drink too much coffee, get jittery. I won't be able to be efficient. You know, it's all, you know, it's all part of my process. Mm-hmm. And so I totally understand what you're saying. 100%.
Part of my productivity is working out. And
yes.
If I don't work out, the day feels unusual unless it's one of my rest days.
Mm-hmm.
My rest days are typically Monday and sometimes Friday. Sometimes. So I have 2 days of rest. But, you know, if it's a certain time of the year, I'll have 1 day of rest, which is usually on Mondays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mondays are a good time to rest. I really enjoy my Mondays where they're just kind of, you know, planning out the week, you know, getting the week ready, you know.
Yeah, but aside from business things to accomplish and I want to stay productive on, that's my own personal thing that I need to stay productive on is working out, staying somewhat fit, you know, feeling healthy.
Yeah.
So
these are all things, aspects to, you know, your mental, you know, to your mind and to your, you know, your body and your physical. So, you know, like making sure you are taking time to decompress and focus on, you know, and this could be a good tip for someone. If you're, you know, you're working on building a business and, you know, you're trying to hit a goal, don't be afraid to stop working once in a while. Don't be afraid to, but when you do stop working, make sure it's something that you can focus on, that you can take your mind off these things to really allow yourself to deeply decompress so that you're ready when you know, the next day to work is, or whatever it may be, the next time frame to start working, you really have decompressed. And it could be anything. You know, I do everything from, you know, working out and playing video games and watching a movie. But I don't want to keep, you know, sticking on that. But that's all physical things, you know.
You have to stay motivated.
Yes.
You have to stay. That's part of being productive, is you
100%.
have to stay motivated, you know, stay looking, focusing on the goal,
Yeah.
looking at the milestones that
Yes.
you're achieving,
100%.
avoiding distractions. It's kind of a blend of things.
100%. Never lose when we're talking about these goals, though. One thing is never lose track of that long-term goal, of the end goal. Never lose track of that. You'll have the end goal, and then you'll have your weekly, daily, monthly goals.
It's the big picture thinking.
It's the big picture thing.
That will help you get so far in productivity, in your career, and in life. When you step back, what's the big picture? What's the reason? What's the goal? Where am I going? What am I doing? Not focusing on the individual things and obstacles and tasks and no. You look at, where's that going to take me? And that is going to be the fuel to staying productive.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's coming back to me. Okay, so one thing, I spoke about this very briefly in the last episode, or actually a couple episodes ago, is one thing that I've dealt with that has taken a toll on me being productive is, negativity, or like just, bumps in the road or hurdles that I have to go over. And sometimes you get stuck on those. And, when you're in a certain mindset, it's hard to get over those hurdles. But I gave myself, I'm trying so hard not to laugh right now. Okay.
It's so funny.
I gave myself,
So funny.
I gave myself a rule. If ever there's, bad news, if ever there's a hurdle or a bump or something that's negative that hits me all of a sudden, which it always happens, there's always a struggle in trying to build something and trying to reach that end goal. Give yourself 2 to 10 minutes to feel bad for yourself. But then after that 2 to 10 minutes, get back and keep going, because, sitting on it and being negative and just draining yourself of all this emotion and draining your energy with, filling your energy with all this negativity is just not good. It's not good for the end goal. Always get back up and keep going, keep pushing, and it'll work out in the end.
You don't stop and you don't quit.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I had struggled with before that had really gotten in the way of productivity, is, sticking onto those negative situations. But so we talked about, decompressing. We talked about, giving yourself time to decompress and not to be afraid of that. Don't overdo it. But at the end of the day, when you got your stuff done for that day and you figured out what you're doing tomorrow, or you figured out what you're doing next week, take some time to decompress and work out, whatever it may be. Work out, play Xbox, Xbox, not PlayStation, Xbox.
I like PlayStation.
I know, I'm kidding. But, give yourself time to decompress, because that is part of productivity. So now external things like goals. What do you do in order to stay,
Control your environment and set up your daily schedule so it sets you up to achieve that level of productivity that you're trying to hit. People just say, yeah, I want to be productive. Well, define that. What does that mean? What are you achieving? What are those milestones? Define it. Write it down.
Yes.
Write it down. Get a clear vision of what you want to achieve for the day. Like, again, my thing's Google Calendar. I legit put everything in there. Thoughts, ideas.
Yeah.
I put my schedule. It's like, I'm like, hey, look into this.
Yeah.
And I put that in there and I write some notes, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
But that's part of my maintenance of productivity is I always go to my Google Calendar. I look at what I have to do aside from meeting new people, meeting clients, drafting proposals, whatever it might be. I always put stuff in there. So I have my whole entire notebook of productivity in one app, and it's all there for me to look at. That makes it very easy for me to manage my productivity, because I'll check things off like, okay, done.
So not only are you saying that, writing down the things that you have to do or the things that you want to do helps you with productivity.
Get clarity on what it is. What does it mean to be productive?
Yes.
But someone might have a completely different, and I don't want to keep talking about advertising because that's what we do, but I want to just more general. Like if someone has a goal to bring in X amount of dollars in business in 1 year or 2 years, you need to do the things that are going to be different than what you're currently doing and add that to the mix of your daily process, your daily routine. Let's say you have somebody else helping you do that. You need to add them to the mix.
Yeah.
Make sure they're part of the journey. They're part of the process.
100%.
To hit that level of productivity where you're bearing the fruit.
100%. So the other side of what I'm seeing is organization. So being organized keeps you product keeps you productive. I keep mentioning this, and I think I mention it because, you know, that it's a lesson that I've learned from, you know, growing and getting to the point where I'm at now, is that, you know, being organized using different softwares and, you know, calendars and writing stuff down and just staying organized, it helps you so much. It helps your mind stay on track. It helps, it just helps you be productive. It helps you be efficient. So organization is a massive key to staying efficient and productive, because, you know, if you get messy, it starts to give you anxiety, and it's not good for you. And if you have a goal to, you know what I'm saying? I'm like losing track of what I'm saying, but
no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I want to make sure that, it's a long day.
It is a long day.
Should we both just cry for a minute?
No. All right. To summarize, being more productive, you have to look at a few things. You have to look at the goal. What is the end result? You have to look at all the obstacles. You have to look at how you're going to get through those obstacles, but treat them each as individual milestones and successes, where you might treat yourself with something. You might, do something that you like. You treat yourself. So you're hitting these milestones when it comes to your productivity. Try to keep all of your notes when it comes to your productivity and tracking things and what you need to do. Try to keep it on an app. I use Google Calendar. You can use anything else. You can use...
It could also be on a notebook.
Yeah, you can put it in a notebook. You can write it down, but get clarity on what you're trying to accomplish as a byproduct of that level of productivity that you're trying to maintain. Avoid irrelevant distractions. Try to stay focused. Try your best to manage the amount of social media that you're on, and try to get those tasks done and get them done right.
100%. And never be afraid to decompress. Never be afraid to give yourself a little bit of a break, but don't take advantage. Don't, what is it called? Don't, overdo it with the decompressing and the breaks, and make sure you're doing everything you can to make sure that you're in peak performance mindset, physical, and within your life. And I guarantee the things that we talked about today will help you, be the next step towards being successful, and setting yourself up. So thank you very much for joining us again on the Real Business Roundtable. This is a short episode. I don't know if we're going to include that. There's going to be a lot of cuts, but please visit us on Instagram and other social platforms for updates, information, clips. DM us if you have any other topics that you would like us to talk about, any questions about a topic that we talked about, and we will certainly answer. Please subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Turn on post notifications so that you get notified every single time we post a new video so that you never miss it. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.